version, Kafka and Flume, little bit?
Flume, yeah. Flume is there, Prasad. Flume
Okay,
is there. Flume is a part of our immediately after finishing this component. I mean Hive.
Okay.
I'll be talking about Scoop, and after Scoop we have Flume only, and after Flume we have Uzi. With that we are going to end the program. That is what the schedule.
Okay.
So Uzi we discussed, and of course this is originally part of the content, but to give you the feel of Spark and all, the big picture of Spark we will be discussing as part of the same program. And what is Yarn? Yarn, anyhow, we are touching that one on and off during our course, but we discuss specifically Yarn. It will not take much time. It is only architecture, no programming involved there. It is only the architecture part. Okay, so we will be seeing that even after finishing this Hive. If we finish Hive and the rest of the components are not that complex, or they are more elaborative. There are small components, right? Flume and all, just understanding the concept and know how to write the configuration file. Scoop anyhow will be starting today only. Scoop part we'll be discussing will start today itself. So these are small components, not too heavy like your MapReduce, Pig, Hive and all. I think the Prasad, you may be the right person now at this stage to tell whether the path we followed, because this is what going to be the input even from my end to apply it to the coming batches even. So the level of importance we deployed to MapReduce and then to Pig and then to Hive. So the flow what we have laid out as part of these sessions, how you felt, what is your true opinion on whatever we did in the last, I think around 20-25 hours or near about 30 hours of time, whatever it is. So you feel it is appropriate because you are already using, you started, it's not that after finishing this course you need to search for a job. You're already a part of the same Hadoop activity. How you feel this training program, whatever we are undergoing now, how to what extent you feel is good to be at the workplace? Let me get the honest inputs from you. Even if it is negative, I don't mind. We try to mature it more and make sure that yes, it will be appropriate.
Yeah, to be honest, there's nothing negative from your side. There's a lot of negative from my end because I didn't get the time to practice a lot. But yeah, it's a very good presentation, whatever you're providing. And also, so every day we talk about this Hadoop things and all in our architecture discussions. So why I'm learning is I'm actually front-end architect. I'm a hybrid, SAP hybrid architect actually.
Okay.
So we have a different database we are connecting. So we come up with Hadoop, and also our big data architects, they come up with a lot of concerns about we are not able to do this, we are not able to do this. So I just want to know, like, that's what I joined this program. Like, I want to learn Hadoop, like what actually, this is our front end, the back end side, how we are going to do this. So that's what I want to know, this Hadoop things and all. So pretty much very clear about like Hadoop now, like how so whenever whenever you telling something about the Hadoop, Pig, Hive, Java, MapReduce jobs and all, I'm just thinking of my requirement, how I'm going to do this using this. So I'll feel every time I'll look into my requirements also. So like parallelly, I'm working with my requirements and also I'm learning Hadoop related things and all. I think it's very good because I'm not doing any practice, but every day I'm discussing about these parts in my normal discussion.
Oh, that's great.
That's
So you
very
feel
good. Yeah.
this kind of input to the participants will definitely give that because see what I feel every day as I know all these things and using it at workplaces. See, the interesting part in my case is I work with a very low-end student community. I mean, I'm not talking about the sessions what I'm taking for you. I'm talking about the true engineering graduates. I give a lot of presentations and all to the people at the engineering level, and I also talk with the architects having very good expertise in big data itself for more than 8 10 years. Two extreme ends. So every day I feel, am I doing great, or am I doing very primitive, or because the entire thing in my mind, and I sometimes I am confused. See, am I giving more? Because every time my marketing team comes back and says, Srinivas, you are giving too heavy stuff to the participants. Sometimes they're finding it very challenging even during the practice. So is it really needed to give that much stuff to the participants? They put a question to me. So that time I feel, see, am I making people afraid that technology is so heavy, you need to learn a lot? But personally, I feel even without this kind of skill set, working at the workplace is going to be challenging. That is what I personally feel. But you need to tell now, whether this level of knowledge is essential as part of the sessions or not.
Yeah, of course. Definitely, you are giving more information that is very and required actually, required to the who is new to this complete Hadoop feature and all. So
Yeah.
that's definitely needed. So you are actually extremely good, actually, extremely like your presentation. Wherever it's important, you're just pressing that this is very important, this is very
Yeah.
important. So that's very good, actually. And
Okay.
also, like now I become a kind of Hadoop expert in our discussions. So our big data architects, they're telling that where you're getting this information. Actually, they actually have high level architects. They don't know developer level
Yes, yes.
knowledge on that
I
Hadoop.
understand, Prasad.
So yeah. So I'm putting a lot of developer things in the discussion, like you can do this, you can do partitions, and I'm explaining this MapReduce, how MapReduce works. This is like, so
Yeah.
they're telling, oh, okay, you have more information now. They're telling me like you coming as a competition now.
Good to have.
Yeah,
So that is what I used to tell every time, because if we are one step ahead, the ultimate goal is whatever we are learning now, the ultimate goal is to actually use it at the workplace or get into the job and all. So that is where every time I stress that point. More than what you are paid, I give a lot of priority and respect to the time what you are spending to upgrade your skill set. Because whatever we are paying towards the training program, that's a peanut, honestly. But the time what we are spending is really valuable. 40 hours of time for the program alone, and then practice from your regular life is not that easy. That is where I strive. I should use that word called strive. I strive to get the best to the session, but still sometimes I personally feel, is it really sufficient for the people, or should I improve more? But when I get the inputs from my marketing team and all, they say, "Hey, Srinivas, you are giving more, than what usually the training companies do." So there are chances that people may get frightened and they may not be continuing the programs. But I feel more than commercial aspects, the real knowledge that is needed at the ground level to do something at the workplace, without which there is no point. That is the reason why the name of the organization also been kept as Techie Bees. So it is called Technology Bees, where our bees, like how bees are the foundation for the planet called Earth. They do pollination. That's how you see the greenery on this planet, without which the planet called Earth will vanish after some time. Same like I personally feel, our technology bees, or technical bees, they should go to different companies and pollinate. That's how technology can be spread across. That's what I feel. That's the reason why the name of the organization been kept as Sticky Bees. So I believe in that,
yeah.
and that's what I feel I need to execute in that way. But good, Prasad,
I
good.
think
Yeah.
You don't need to change anything. You're absolutely perfect what you're doing now. You don't need to change anything. So whatever you're explaining, you're planning. I think you're doing absolutely good actually. That's my feeling actually. I don't know about Ram and Hamal, like how they feel it, but
Yeah,
so you were
that,
giving absolutely the correct information,
that's
and
what
also
even
you
I need
clarifying
to.
all the points. Yes.
Yeah, I need to take even input from Ram. Yeah, Ram. How?
Yeah, hi, this Ram. It's really, I mean, articulate, like, the way you explain things is really good. I mean, right from the fundamentals to all the way to the advanced level, it's like, there's no doubt about that. And you never read from the PPTs. The best thing is that I have seen, like, on the YouTube, I've seen, like, not you, but I've seen at least like 10 or 15 trainers who
Yeah,
are very prominent in the market right now,
yeah,
but they read from the PPTs. Like, I have seen that.
yeah, yeah.
And it's like basically like, the way a lecture goes on, they read on some stuff. So which I don't see in you. That is absolutely a great thing we like them. Like, for a person who's already like maybe like me and Hemal, like we are not directly working on right now on Hadoop,
Yeah.
but definitely we are like from the Java background and we know like, how things are going on. So for us, like we need a different level of thing. Luckily, I think all our, I see like Prasad, everybody in the batch is like our team here is like, up to a level where you tuned and like, you are catering exactly to our level in this batch. Like, if you have a mix of people, maybe it might have been a bit challenge for you,
Yeah, yeah.
but you exactly got the pulse of us and like you absolutely are going in the right direction. And to add like few things, I would like to say like, nothing like, that we are missing, but I would say like, since we lack in some of the, since you're already working, some of the things that you might have faced as a challenge while you're working, like, if you would share that, like, as and when, like any topic wise, like, at the design level or at the, errors that are usually possible, that would be a real great thing, like, if you can add to that.
Sure, Prasad. I mean, Ram, that is definitely a very, very good point. That is the reason
Like,
why I expect even challenges when we are working with the components.
right,
Because as you rightly mentioned, I started this activity with the philosophy no PPT. That is what the philosophy I have kept. No PPT driven training, because no point, when I do something to the PPT, it is a developer program. If it is a personality development or something like that is fine. But developer program and administration programs and all, we run through PPT. I will not be able to give that imagination to the participants. So that is the reason why I prefer to do it practically in the session. I know it is very challenging to do it practically in the sessions, because sometimes even I may fail, because all these components are very close and similar to each other. I may fail, but I never hesitate to implement directly in the sessions, because even we fail, the participants will definitely learn. I will be under that impression. Again, from my marketing team, I get these inputs saying, "Hey, Srinivas, why we need to, lose our reputation or something like." I convince them it is not the concept of losing the reputation. If someone feel that something is not been executed in the class and Srinivas is not up to the mark, I leave it to them. But it's not that every time, every minute, whatever we expect to run is is going to run every time. That's not apt. Even they need to see the challenges. Oh, something not working as expected. Fine. How that needs to be tuned to work as expected. That's going to be a definitely good use case to the participants even. But most of the times, because as we are having more practice on various aspects, we do it, and we are not getting much issues during our execution and all. But yes, this is one definite thing that I'll keep in the mind and try to share with you in MapReduce challenges, in Peak the challenges, in Hive the challenges. That is where I basically encourage you to, uh, you know, to do the practice, because your practice will give a lot of issues. So that is what usually I expect you to come back with the issues that you come across during your practice. But anyhow, for sure, I'll try to document at least a few and see to that I'll be sharing with that may be helpful to you during your workplace, at your workplace.
I really appreciate that. And also, probably if you could devote one session at the last, like, when we are done everything, like, if you can give us some insight, uh, this is the way the requirement comes in, and and using Kafka, like once we are done with all the ecosystem, so using Kafka, we blow in all the data into HDFS like this, and if this is the requirement given to us and we need to come up with a design, whiteboarding or high-level design, low-level design, then if you could give us like that sort of insight in one of the classes at the last, that will be really good.
Wonderful, Ram. Sure, we'll plan it. We'll plan it. See, that is where I say this is not a fixed program, or we have 12 topics or 14 topics, and I finish those topics and I finish my program. Most of the times it is dynamic, though we publish the content and all, but I don't go by. Content we definitely try to execute as is. But in terms of the number of hours we spend, I always make it dynamic based on the participants level and their active involvement. I make it dynamic. Yes, definite. I'll make sure that a discussion will be there on whatever you mentioned, and I'll try to share a document if possible. I'll try to compile a document so that it can be useful to you for the reference. Really, really wonderful.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And for that log file description too, actually, that was one of my requirements earlier, the log file discussion that you were talking about earlier. That was really apt, and where it fits. Actually, it was not to be done in Hadoop, but we had a general requirement where we were struggling to write that in Java. Okay. We did it manually to publish that, but I was trying to imagine that how we could achieve that in Hadoop, and I think I got a perfect answer. Thanks for that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. Well, that's
also
Srinivas.
Yeah, Hemant.
Yeah. I know that is a problem from my side because I'm not doing right now on a practice, but I would like to add one more thing. So whatever your presentation is excellent, it's no doubt about that, but this is my suggestion. Suppose if we can add only 10 minutes lab, I know it's a time constraint, right? So whatever, suppose you are doing, so same thing we can do on our side, okay? On that time, whatever you are teaching us and we are facing some problems, so we can resolve later on. So that's what my suggestion. I don't know about that, Ram and Prasad, but what I feel, is suppose if you are teaching Hive, whatever that map reduce peak, right? So in between, suppose 10 minutes lab, what you did, so same thing we can did, so we can realize, oh, that's happening, and we can do that way.
Wonderful, wonderful. See, that's where if you are able to keep the environments up and running, that will be definitely, I prefer that one, Hemal, to be honest with you. So that may not be everything, but at least a few things we do it, that will be really very helpful to you to get your things done. Yes, we try to do that. I mean, if you can keep your environments up and running, that will be definitely, I mean, I love to do that one for the reason, the more instantaneously if you do something and you get something out of it, maybe strenuous practice we can do at the later stage, but this one, if you can do it, that will be really, really good from both the ends, right? It will be even easy from my end to give you the next session, because you already has got some imagination towards that. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We'll definitely do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One question, Srinivas, actually, what I observed actually with different organizations. So we are actually working on the cloud area environment. Normally, so all the organizations, they're not working on the cloud area. They have the separate package package installed in Linux servers, and they have a separate package. It's not in the cloud era.
Yes, yes.
So how this works, like, so they needs to install Hive separately, Pig separately.
Very classical question. Let you take anything. Ultimately, let it be Cloudera distribution for Hadoop, that is CDH, or HDP, Hortonworks data platform, or IBM Big Insights. IBM Big Insights. Okay. Or even you take Intel's bundle, or you take Mapr. Okay. Take any bundle. See, they are not developing any component on their own. All going to make use of the same components that is developed by Apache. So you will not face any challenge, not even 1% challenge, because in every of our session we are reading the documentation from Apache, nothing from Cloudera. So tomorrow, I mean, learning CDH and you go to the workplace and there you have HDP, will not face any challenge, not even 1% challenge, because we are working with the Apache components, not with the bundle specific components anytime. So you will not have any challenge at all.
Okay.
So even you
So
see
you're
now,
saying either,
yeah.
so you're saying that either it should be CDH or HDP. It should be one platform. It should be on one environment.
No, these are all
not separate, like
yeah. These are just nothing but the companies trying to bundle all these components and give it to you as a single instance so that you will be able to run it properly on your cluster. That's the only thing they are doing it, because a particular version of Hive is compatible with a specific version of Hadoop. Not every version of Hive is compatible with every version of Hadoop. A level of Hadoop demands only this level of Hive, not the latest Hive. Okay. So latest Hadoop, latest Hive, latest Pig, that is all okay. But every version of Hadoop I mean Mapped and HDFS, that is what I'm saying, core Hadoop. So every version of Hadoop is not compatible with every version of Hive, Pig and all. So it will be very painful to integrate all these components into one single bundle by every individual company. That is why these companies are taking that pain and giving it to you, the bundle, so that you will be able to comfortably deploy and do your job rather than focusing on how you set up the environment. That is the reason why you got these bundles. Otherwise, you yourself also can set up the environment using Apache components directly on your cluster. That is what most companies do, rather than relying on Cloudera or something like that.
Okay. So question is like, so how this, all the servers, like physically servers like related the cluster, so where exactly we are going to install this package? Is any master server you have a,
good.
you have a slaves and all? Yeah,
Good.
that's the question.
Good question. I mean, let me show you. Give me a minute time. I'll show you practically. Of course, we're not getting deviated from the, this kind of imagination also needed for us to get the clarity on what we are doing. Give me a minute. I'll show you practically how we do it. We have a physical cluster. 1 second. Oh yeah, is there? My VPN is also on. No problem. So we have a physical cluster, physical setup.
Why I'm asking is, I actually set up a Hadoop in my local Mac, and I'm trying to do Hive and Pig. I'm not able to do that.
No, that is actually the pseudo cluster, right? Whatever you have set up.
Yeah. Yes.
So pseudo cluster is what this is. This is what you are seeing. This is a pseudo cluster.
Yeah.
What I'm running on my box. But what I'm showing you now is a physical cluster, and you see this manager. I deployed my Cloudera manager on a separate machine, which has got 12 GB of RAM and 4 CPUs, virtual CPUs. running on an IP39. I think you are able to see that. And I have one more that is a master. It also has got 12 GB of RAM. This is RAM, 12 GB of RAM and 4 virtual CPUs and running on an IP40. I have data node 1, data node 2, data node 3 and data node 4 running on the individual IPs with a 8 GB configuration for each. So this is how my cluster is going to be.
Okay. So you have some 10 servers.
Yeah, these are actually
different
for
servers.
other purposes. I mean, this Apache development Apache environment we have. We have a practice bed, we have a test bed, and we have a iMobis dev for development activity. Apart from TechieBees, we have another 2 companies which focus on the other development part. That one is iMobis, where we have set up a development environment. This is the complete thing which I monitor and manage, because I'm not just a developer. I'm also an admin. To what extent I'm delivering in the development front, almost equivalent to that I can deliver even in the administration front. I'm both the developer and admin in the Hadoop space.
Oh, that's a real great combination, actually.
True. That is where most of the times people feel, how come is possible? I say it's not concept of possibility, but as I know the the only strength behind that is my fundamental strength on operating system, networking concepts, database management system, and the programming. From day one till date, I am in the same Java stream. I started with JDK 1.0 beta when it has been launched to the market. That day till date, I am in the same stream. I am never out of the Java stream anytime I mean in my entire life. Before that, I was a hardcore C programmer, used to write the code for device drivers and all, and then moved directly to Java. I know basics of plus plus, but I moved to Java directly when it has been launched to the market. So my strength on that has made me to go to the extent where I could build my own from the source of Hadoop, making even some changes needed. Even at the operating system level, I don't claim that I have equal strength in every, but all the essential skill sets that are required to work at the operating system, core operating system level, I have that capability, both on Windows and Linux. So it is not just the programming part, and when it comes to the system side, I don't claim that I have that strength, but reasonably good strength in making up. So I can set up a cluster on any hardware, any kind of operating system. It's not that only a specific set of boxes. Even if it is Ubuntu or SUSE or anything, we don't have any problem setting up, because I have done end-to-end POCs from bare metal boxes to the execution of the Hive queries. That is where our actual strength. Apart from the training, we do POCs to the different clients, especially in US market. So that made us to, that compelled us to be from end to end. Necessity has demanded. And that's how I traveled last 6 years in Hadoop space. So got almost equal strength both on development and administration front. As you said, there is a rare combination. Either you will be in the development front or will be in the admin front, but not in both. But interesting, I got the chance to get end-to-end in both the sections, so that we can deliver solutions. See, the goal is, to be honest with you, the goal is to develop some product. 2 times we missed the chance, but this time we are planning very seriously to do something with Spark, Scala, and the Hadoop cluster. Don't know. Maybe we may come out with good solution. So that's the reason why we are compelled to be end-to-end in every aspect.
Sure. Good luck to the product and all your skill set. Like, as I see, just the Hadoop ecosystem itself is like There are like you name it and it just stretches in every layer. Like there's so many technologies there, and going to the length and breadth to the admin as well as this is like I think like an excellent thing.
Great. Yeah. So wonderful. Really happy at your inputs, and I try to do whatever the inputs you have passed to me and to make this to be more elaborative and more interactive, more expressive, and more useful to you. I'll try to incorporate those things in the current sessions itself. Wonderful, friends.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
thanks.
Yeah, great. So let us look into this Hive, whatever we discussed. Give me a minute in the meantime, 1 minute. Let me be back. Yeah, sorry friends. So in the today's discussion, we will try to see the other parts of Hive. Maybe for that sake, I may need to, yes, one thing, slash dataset slash. Now imagine if you have a data set something like this. Look at this data set closely. If you have a data set something like this, how you are going to project the structure onto this data set. Please look at this data set very closely. Name of the employee, the salary of the employee, and the colleagues of the employee. And intentionally, let me, I think I should be able to do that. View, zoom out. Oh, sorry. Please, this is needed for our discussion. That is why, yes, closely look at this. After John Doe, you have a 0001. And after the salary, we have that one. And again, it is ended here. In between, your colleagues or subordinates ended with, they're separated with 0002. I think you are seeing that one in the console. You notice that?
Yeah.
And you also see there is something called federal taxes, state taxes, insurance. The starting of the taxes and ending of the taxes is 0001. But in between, your tax type and the value are separated with 003, and your each tax is separated with 0002. I think you noticed everything here. Now recorrecting from your complex data types of your Hive, what is that you can, how you can project the structure on this kind of data set? How you can project the structure on this kind of data set? You got my point?
Yeah, I guess for based on that code, we can do the grouping.
Yes. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So let me, yeah. So if you look closely here, look at this one. Look at this one. Create a table if not exists. Oh, forget what database and all, we change that one later. Name, string type, salary float type. Subordinates is an array type of string elements. Deductions is a map with a key and value pair as string and float. Address as a structure where street, city, state, zip. I think you are very clear now. Last thing what you are seeing here is this one. Make sense?
Sorry, Srinivas, I'm not getting it. How you came it after seeing this data set, how you came into mind, like you going to create that kind of structure?
Yeah.
Because this
You look
zero
at
zero
this
one
one
zero zero
closely.
two.
Yes, you look at this one closely. This is something like a map where we have a key value pair. Key is a text type and value is the value. And all this belongs to the same. And you look at the address part. You have street, city, then you have country code and then zip code. And you see the subordinates like a bunch of names. That is something like an array kind of thing, right? So looking at this one, you definitely will get an understanding. This is not the same because this entire thing comes under address. It is one activity, one entity you can call it to be, and this all into one. And this all into one. But overall, this entire thing needs to be projected with a structure. So that is the reason why we got this kind of understanding to get it done. May not be every time, but yes, as the data set is like that, we were able to get this idea fine. Again, the same old story, row formatted, delimited, fields terminated by so and so, fields are terminated by this one only, collection items are terminated by this one, and map key is terminated by this one. That is additional things. And lines are terminated by, anyhow, lines are terminated by new line, we need not, but if lines are terminated by a different, this also is going to be useful to us. Make sense?
Yeah.
Because in the documentation part, if you observe closely, in the documentation part, if you observe closely, whatever I think, the manual, let me show it to you in the manual. In the manual, if you see closely, you have something called data types. As part of the data types, if you see closely, so I got this one from that one only, actually. I got this idea from the concept of data types only. As you have specifically asked that one, I want to give it to you, the understanding here. You see the data types. In the complex types, if you see, because other things you can easily understand. See here. You got it?
Yeah.
So if you look at this one, array, the names and all we have specified that one array. Now look at this and compare both. You'll be able to understand. What is that? Subordinates is an array type where elements are strings. Deductions is a map type where key value pairs are your string and float, nothing but your taxes. Address is a struct type where street is string, city is string, state is string, and zip is int. I think you got. Now with this we are able to even make use of complex types as part of our implementation. Look at this one very carefully. You want, I'll be sending the data set and this both to you so that you'll be able to work on this. You got the idea now? I will do that anyhow now. vi employees.hql. What we do is create external table if not exists. Here I remove this HR and make it as the keybs, And here I make this as location is /tmp/sandbox/employees. Okay, and I save this one wq not, and I will have a Hive -f employees.html. Probably from the other terminal we try to create that directory. What is the directory we have? TMP employees directory. So what we do is Hadoop fs-mkdir/tmp/sandbox/employees. Okay, that is a directory which we need. So employees directory I am creating now, and what we do is we are going to put that file. We are going to put that file into that employees directory. So Hadoop fs -copy from local. Okay, slash no, that is work / datasets employees dot txt /tmp/sandbox/employees. So I copied that data set to that one. Anyhow, it is an external table, so it doesn't matter. You know, when you keep that data set, you can keep before or after. It doesn't have any relation. So let this has already happened. So here you say Hive, and yeah, this copying also been done.
Srinivas, in that HSQL the query,
Yeah.
I got the data set symbol. So what is this terminated logic? How that terminated logic
Terminated
works?
logic. Based on the data set that you are going to use, say here you are using the data set, right? The fields are terminated by this one. I have shown you, right? This one. Fields are terminated by that. Okay. Fields are terminated by that. Whatever I am showing you, that is 001. It could be anything. It could be anything. It is not necessary that you need to have only 001 or something like. It could be anything. And 0002, 0003. So what termination is there for the respective, that you can give it here, no problem. Collection items nothing but your map kind of thing, and your array elements, map elements or array elements. And inside map we have key value pairs, right? Key and value are separate, that is where map key is terminated by this one. So I mean federal taxes, if you see closely, federal taxes, and there is a value 0.2. Federal taxes is 0.2 and state taxes 0.05, insurance 0.1. If you see that closely, you will be understanding it. So that is where I mentioned that one as where map keys are terminated by whatever the respective we call that as a separator. The separator.
So these are the Hive key values, like is a syntax?
No. See, based on your data set, these are not as we have like that. We have given it here like that. If you have a different separators here, we will use the same separators here also. No relation at all. Depending on what we have, the same like we use here. You got my point?
Yeah. So the collection of items, map,
Yes.
keys, and all, it's written by you
These
only.
things, no. Whatever we are using here, fields terminated by, collection items terminated, map keys terminated, these are fixed phrases from Hive. But
Okay.
this 0001, they are actually variables. I mean, you can keep based on the data set. But row formatted, delimited, fields terminated by, collection items terminated by, map keys terminated by, all these are the phrases from your Hive.
Okay, now I got you. But all are default for important for every HSQL query, or like we just use whatever is required?
Now, whatever is required. I mean, not necessary for everything, because if you have seen your student table that we have created based on student data set, we didn't use all these things. We only used fields terminated by, that's it. Row format delimited we used, and fields terminated by, that's it. Because that data set demands only the fields terminated by. But this being a different and a typical data set, we have got these into picture. Your collection items, your map keys, and all these things, they came into picture.
Okay.
Not
Yeah,
every
now I
data.
got you.
Not every data set.
And I have a question here, Srinivas.
Yeah, please.
Can we use, like, instead of that hash, I mean slash 003, can we use some wildcard characters there instead? Like,
No. Wildcard characters not possible, because it is fixed. If you take the data set, every data set is going to come fixed with whatever. It necessarily need not be this character. It could be, say for example, piped operator I can keep. See, field separator I can keep as a piped operator. Okay. And this collection items between Mary Smith and Todd Jones, these two, I may use percentile as a separator. Between taxes and all here, what you are seeing, I may use a star. I may use star. And between these elements, whatever you are seeing here, you may use a different separator. Depending on how you are getting the data set, because usually these data sets are machine generated. They are not human generated. You are not going to write these data sets physically. Maybe as a log of something, or whenever some application is running, it is generating this kind of data, or you might be importing from your RDBMS into HDFS. That time you might have got the data like this. So we never know, but it is for sure these data sets are not human generated. They are all machine generated or auto generated, I can say, instead of saying machine, because machine generated you may get confused with the machine data again. Machine generated, I mean, as a part of log or been automatically generated because of some transactions happening in the background of a particular application. They are all being generated because we are talking in the context of big data, I mean huge data sets. So definitely these are not handcrafted, because such huge data sets you will not be able to handcraft. So each field definitely is separated with a fixed separator only. Not like it will get changed. With the fixed rules only, the data gets emitted from the application or emitted from a standard source. So no chance that these gets deviated, or these gets different for each record. You're getting my point?
yeah, I got that.
So now I say here, describe employees. You'll be having pretty interesting thing. Name, salary, subordinates, deductions, address. They're the columns. They're the columns. For string type, float type, array, string type, float, array, map, and a struct. you can see here, select name comma salary comma subordinates. Please look at this query, friends. The subordinates of 0 comma address dot city from employees. So have a look at this query, what I am doing here. Subordinates, I only want the first subordinate and I want the city from address from this employees. So I am running this job now. I am running this query. It is extracting only that from the respective data set. But in the background, what is this data set? I've already shown you how this has been linked. It has been linked. This being an external table, it is pointing to some directory. And in the directory, we already kept this data set. In slash, we have removed this one. We have made it as /tmp/sandbox/employees. Now, a job is running for you in the background. And you can see that here closely. Hue. So select name comma salary comma subordinates and all this query. What is application type again? This, if you are able to understand and digest, you are done. See, I think, just before I mentioned, my foundation, my basic skill sets has given me the strength. I think you have understood. In the beginning itself, I was able to. I'm not talking today. It is, even again, when it comes to Hadoop, this is one quite interesting thing I must share with you. When I shared the fact that the future is going to be big data, it's almost like 8 years back. I remember very clearly. When I used to talk the same thing with my friends and colleagues, of course, every time they comment the same thing, a routine comment again. They used to say, Srinivas will bring one or other new thing every day. This is going to be, that is going to be, this is going to be. You won't believe now, people who hasn't opted this big data and still continuing as the same, Java programmers. Of course, they have gone to the Artex and all now, working with Spring Boot and working with Spring Security, JPA and all those aspects. No doubt they have a very good career, but every time wherever they are going, when they are coming across this big data and the importance of big data, how big data can be a backbone for the enterprise architectures and all, now they are repenting, coming back and saying, Srinivas, you are right. What you said that time is absolutely right. We were able to predict this one only with the experience we gained. I could see that very clearly that big data is going to be future, and I was able to predict that as part of the company's valuation, data also plays a very critical role. That is what is happening today. Today, Facebook worth is only based on their data. They don't have anything apart from data. You take any big company today, when they are evaluating the company, they are also taking data into consideration. What volume of data they have, on what volume of data the company is sitting. That also is playing a vital role in evaluating a company. Acquisitions are happening. taking this data also a different parameter into consideration while acquisition. If I have a customer base of 10 lakh, based on that, let my business is 1 crore or 100 crores, based on the number of clients that I have or customers I have, my valuation is happening. The data what I'm holding. That is how the company like Paytm and all, the company like Paytm is always in losses. But still the valuation of the company is around, I think last time when they evaluated it is around $2 billion. $2 billion. When the founder has shelled out 1% of his stake, he got around about 350 crores. 1% of his stake worth 350 crores some time back. But never the company is in profits, never. Even today it is in losses. But the valuation is happening based on the customer base what they have. I think they have more than 10 crores or 20 crores, I don't know the exact number, the number of customers they have with them. Based on that only the valuation is happening. Same like even here. When you come to this level, it is all the data. And I used to tell this MapReduce is going to be the key for the entire thing. People used to laugh. Again, the same old story. Now I think you are understanding. Let you work with any job in the entire ecosystem in some other form, because I am not interested to invent new mechanisms for each thing. It is already been proved that MapReduce massive parallelism is very effective, a cost-effective solution in terms of processing my data. Then I need not go behind everything. On the same, I was able to build the other frameworks conveniently and deliver my things. That's how you can see here the name of the employee, the salary, and the subordinate, the first subordinate, and the city. If there is no subordinate, there you are getting null. I think you notice that here, where you don't have subordinates. So you are able to see that one, right? I think it didn't got refreshed. If it gets refreshed, you see you already got the output there. Yes, succeeded. You can see that there. And now I'm asking you a question. Oh, history server is not running. Fine.
You're absolutely correct, Srinivas. So I 100% agree with you on the big data. Now the current world is moving actually. So all the business partners, they're looking into competition now. Here is Walmart, Best Buy, Target, and all.
Yes.
The people are like in earlier. I think they've only maintained the actual data. They don't know what is going on each area. Like they use the mobile, they use the online, they use the store level, all the omni channels related stuff. They need to capture each and every event. How many customers are looking into the website? How many customers are just coming into the mobile app? And
yes,
what they're doing it. So each and every event they need to log it, and they need to showcase in this somewhere in the for CEOs and the high level people. So what is happening on this app?
Exactly.
So that is where the big data is coming. They capturing all the logs, and they want to know like what we're going to do with better to compare to the other vendors.
True. And in the coming days, I mean, now I'm telling you very clearly, you please make a note on it. As IoT is booming up like anything, big data becomes, I mean, it becomes obvious. I can say it becomes obvious. There is no other option, there is no other choice. Because these IoT devices, I mean, now sensors become very cheap, data transmission became very cheap. It was expensive some time back, but today data transmission became very cheap, and sensors became very cheap wherever you want. Even the parking places are being now equipped with sensors. Almost I can say humanless parking solutions are coming up. Humanless, I mean, the moment you go there, you come to know, I mean, the boom barrier gate will get open, and you go to the respective parking, because it is going to guide you clearly which parking lot is empty. because for every parking lot you are going to keep a sensor. The moment you park the vehicle there, in the dashboard at the entry level, it is been shown that this parking lot is occupied. The moment you take the vehicle from there, it is again going to be shown in the green saying that this parking lot is available for parking. So a human is not required in the coming days, because technology is becoming more and more nearer and more feasible, viable. The data generation is becoming huge. More devices, more data, tough for me to handle. Then the only solution is big data. I think now you can clearly understand why only big data, because it only has got the ability to store the data so precisely, and even your historical data to mine it, and depending on your future needs, you can scale up your hardware infrastructure. That possibility is only to your, because the storage cost per byte is relatively, I can say it is inexpensive when it comes to Hadoop. That is the reason why this is becoming a popular choice to every company. In the coming days, now at least big corporations and companies of beyond some some clientele or business only are adopting big data. In the coming days, even a startup will adopt maybe a cluster of 4 node or 5 node or 6 node, whatever it is. Everywhere it becomes omnipresent. So obviously people will look into the benefits of this one, and definitely they appreciate the importance of this one, and integrate this as a part of their regular landscape. Now it is not a part of that one, but in the coming days I'm able to clearly see that they can make this as a part of their regular landscape. Maybe they have their existing infrastructure. Beneath that existing infrastructure, they form Hadoop as a layer. Now, even you see here, the job that has been executed, I ask you the question now, what kind of MapReduce job is functioning for you in the background? Is it only a map phase or both map and reduce phases? For the query what we executed now, we got this data. What kind of MapReduce job is going to function?
It's only map.
Yes. Without any second thought. You want, you can go and see there without any second thought. It is only a map phase. There will not be, because there is no aggregation at all here. It's only getting what is the required data. Is it not been started? It's started, right?
I just want to share you one thing with you guys. Actually, Ram and Hemant as well.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm working on one of the solution. I'm working on one of the solution now. So we are building a robotics actually. So for the robotics actually, what we are doing is each event of the robotics we are capturing in the dashboard to the people what this robotics is doing actually. If something is not working, robotics is built with some programming. So that robotics, what each and every event, like what robotics is doing, we are going to show in the dashboard. And all the transaction, it's a huge transaction, like each and every event is going to be 1,000 transaction each and every minute. The transaction log and everything we are storing in the Hadoop side. And the Hadoop, actually, they're using a big script now, but it's not properly showing in the dashboard, and they want to use Java code or some customization to use the MapReduce job. But I think, I believe Hive is the better way to do that. But I'm not the architect for that, actually Hadoop side, but on the robotics side, I'm the architect. But the Hadoop side is a different architect, but I'm giving a suggestion to them to use the Hive script instead of Pig and Java. That's what actually, Srinivas, what you suggest on this?
No, maybe too early for me to say that, but with your description, I can definitely say the best way is, I mean, undoubtedly. So if at all, if you are connecting your things to the dashboard and that needs to be visible, the obvious solution, but instead of you working with Hive, Prasad, what I advise you is you work with Impala. A layer on the top of Hive again. This is a layer on the top of Hive. This is going to make use of in-memory computing to the extent thereby updating your dashboard is going to be much more effective. Of course, Impala is going to make use of paraquet format in the background for the data storage and data processing. It is going to depend on paraquet format. I'm going to explain you, don't worry for that. But compared to Hive, Impala is going to be much more efficient.
Okay.
So you
that's nice thing that you shared, Prasad. And also, Srinivas, I have a question here. Like, as Prasad was saying, like, does machine language come into picture here, Prasad or Srinivas? Like, the AI, when I hear about robotics, I hear about AI and like machine language stuff.
Yeah.
That is actually, that is artificial intelligence and the machine learning again comes to big data. How it comes to big data is, as been mentioned by Prasad just before, every event of the robot movement or the activity that they are performing, every transaction been tracked, or it has been tracked like an event kind of thing, and the event will have a payload, nothing but the data associated, and that is being pumped into your HDFS. You start mining that one. I mean, mining in the sense like I give you, though it is a bit away from the discussion, but it is interesting. So in machine learning, what I do is I take the same data. This is what the event data that is being collected. Taking some parameters into consideration, I mine this one, I get this output. Same with a different set of parameters I mine, I get a different output. Same data, I mine it with a different set of parameters, I get. Now I may take average of these three, I get something. Again, with a different set of parameters, I mine it, I get an average of this one. These two average I get. Something like this is what we call it to be machine learning. I mean, we are going to tune the machine to learn on its own. I mean, over a period of time, that is what your Google driverless cars and all the result of your machine learning on. But they're employing the process and the mining of the data so precisely because that is live. When you are bringing it onto the road and it can cause any harm. That is why you have a very precise, I mean, high-powered computing and the transmission of the data and getting the inputs and all precisely because it need to take decisions almost like instant.
It's a real time. That's true. Exactly.
Yeah,
it's a real time type.
So that is what is machine learning actually. Machine learning is something like making the machine to learn something on its own and make the decisions on its own. That is what machine learning is basically. So how the machine is going to learn on its own, because it doesn't have any intelligence, and that is where we put the artificial intelligence to the machine. That is where we write the algorithm. Writing that algorithm is what we call it to be AI. So AI and machine learning are interrelated or interconnected or coupled or binded together. So you as a developer, you write the algorithm and make that algorithm to be executed by the machine with different sets of parameters, and based on the outcomes it make a decision. Oh, as the outcome is like this might be the thing. Oh, fine. So based on this outcome, it works in some fashion. In the meantime, based on the other set of parameters, it tries to mine and get some other output and correlate these things and then make a decision. So it is something like, right, it gets input. Now at a distance of 50 meters, there is an obstacle, fine, in the front direction, and in the right direction at a distance of 25 meters there is one more obstacle, and left side another 10 meters there is an obstacle. And now correlating all these things, I need to make a decision whether to move forward or take a right direction here or take a left direction here. So the mining of the data needs to happen at a very faster pace. So then only it is able. The machine itself need to learn on its own with the intelligence provided to it. That is where these two are not independent entities anymore, dependent. But to what extent we integrate these things depends on the problem domain. Makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah, nice discussion, Prasad and Srinivas. Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. So,
I see that, like, one of my friends, like, who drives the Tesla with the autopilot. Now I'm trying to imagine whatever you guys were discussing.
Yeah. That is where sometimes, I feel, how come we able to understand certain things and many other things. That is where, most of the times people, you understand very complex things so easily, but you don't understand simple things. What is this? It is all because of the strength we have. We may not have the same strength on every aspect, right? See, certain small things also sometimes I fail to understand because of my limitation, my knowledge limitation or skill limitation in that domain. But whereas in the other area, because of the skill set, we may be able to understand. There's no comparison between these two. It doesn't mean that the complex thing of that sort we'll be able to understand, visualize and explain, but certain things we'll not be able to understand. It is not that everything needs to be in our control, right? So you look at this one very closely, as been mentioned by me, the ORC format and I'm advising Prasad to make use of this. Look at this diagram, Prasad. You yourself able to understand why I advise to use Impala to put the data to the dashboard. Look at this one. You can understand clearly. So if it is your text data, same, in the same context we are talking. If it is your text data, whose size is 585 GB, if the same data, text data is stored in the RC file, it is 505 GB, 14% smaller. And if the same data is stored in the Paraquet format, it is 62% smaller. If the same is stored in the ORC format, it is 78% smaller. I mean, though not much difference, but still difference is there, right? So your Impala is going to make use of Paraquet and ORC in the background. As a result, you may ask me one thing, how come Paraquet or ORC is going to make the efficiency? Lesser the data, faster I am able to process it, right? Instead of me processing 585 GB of text data, I can process 221 GB of data very fast and get my results and project it onto the dashboard. One thing.
Yeah.
Second thing, it makes use of in-memory. Of course, in order to make this possible, your cluster need to be a bit high performance cluster that is needed. But yes, we are ready to take the pain provided if the data, if the information is more meaningful and it is really needed to you, never mind spending on that. So instead of you working with Hive, better you work with Impala so that you'll be able to query the data very fast. You can advise that one to your team even.
Yeah.
That work with Impala rather than Hive. It is the same. It is the same. And to give you the understanding only, I am showing you here. It is Impala here. Now I am going to that one and saying select a star from customers. Like how I am working with my Hive, same like I am working with my Impala also. It is a layer on the top of your Hive to get better performance. Compared to, I think you noticed here. Here itself you can notice with this small data set. Here itself you can notice. Same you go and work with your Hive, it takes more time. It takes more time.
Yeah, I got you. Thank you.
So here you see.
And Srinivas, I have a question here when you're talking about that.
Yeah.
The compressed file.
Yeah.
So, do you see like that what of the least compressed file that you said using Impala when you execute? I mean, processing that would be a lot easy since it is less size.
Yeah.
But I see like there's more the CPU stuff like which would take the resources to process that data.
Why it takes
Like
more?
to uncompress and it has to pump it to the nodes and like the name nodes and other stuff and do that uncompress and do that, right?
No, that's the reason why I'm going back to my DDL. What we have discussed before. I'll show you that. Then you'll understand and appreciate. Oh, that is the reason why. I'm saying that you go here in the data definition itself. You are going to make the statement stored as. There is one more clause at the last. Stored as. Okay, so that makes your data to be stored in that form, so that you need not worry about compression and uncompression kind of thing. Directly, it works on the compressed data only. It will not decompress again. It will while processing it. It will compress on the. It will directly work on the respective format. Your cluster is capable of, your Hive libraries are capable of working on the direct format itself. You need not do that. You need not uncompress that. So I'll show you here. Stored as.
Sure.
Yeah. See here. In the same create table, we have seen most of the stuff. Create table, comments, partitioned, clustered by, and row format. Now we have something called stored as. I give there RC, ORC, and stuff like that. So you are going to see the data when you are loading the data into that kind of table, which is created as stored as kind of clause. According to that format, the data is being converted and stored. Not with external tables, it is with your managed tables. Thereby, what is going to happen is your data format has been changed from your text to the respective format at the time of loading the data itself. So working on the data is going to be straightforward now. I need not decompress that. Your libraries can directly work on the compressed data itself. It need not decompress that one to a temporal location, work on it, and again trash that one and all. That question will not arise. How you are able to work directly on a zip file without opening it? Maybe I go in. There are readers which can read directly from. I don't know whether you are comfortable in understanding this or not. Java.util.zip. You have a library. You have a library in Java. Java.util.zip. Okay. Using that Java.util, because there is a zip input stream and zip output stream as part of the same util package, with which you are able to directly work with your zip files. You need not do that one separately, uncompress it somewhere, and then you want to specially focus on that, you can do it. But you want to directly work on it, you can get the data and get your things done. You can read directly your zip files using the libraries. You got my point?
Yeah, sure. And adding to that, like when I was discussing the same with one of my friends, like who's working on, the same big data stake, he was mentioning like, like in Hive, like I asked him like, how do you, if there's big chunk of data, how do you work on that? He said like they work on the compressed files. And the same question, if I asked him like, again, you need to uncompress the file and all, but like, I mean, maybe it's correct or not, but he was saying like, to do the uncompress and like, process that file from the CPU, only the IO resources are being used. So it's not a costly source, the IO resources to do the compression and uncompression, and still it is considered to be faster. So do you think like that anything in any way justifies that?
That is the case. Let me come back to you with the metrics. Then it makes more sense. If possible,
Sure.
uh,
That's in the case of Hive. I was saying like, they if they have like huge data, he said like, that's what they do for optimizing. They compress the data in a jar file
no,
or
that
like
is
whatever
different.
the format you said,
No, no, no.
and they do it. And since like it's only the IO stuff that's performed, so it's not as costly as, doing some
No, Ram,
computational stuff.
Ram. That context is different. That compression is different, and this is different. No, that
Right. This is like totally different. Yeah, this is like a huge data, as you said, like which you're
yeah,
using Impala to do the
yeah. This is
compression,
different
and this is a
because
total different format.
this is the data format itself. This is the data format. I mean, let me put it this way. You have the text file, right, with the extension .txt, and you have the file with .zip, .zar, .var. Now all these are, and you see, whenever I am trying to add my zar files, I mean my libraries to my web application or something like, instead of me adding the .class files, I'll be adding the zar file. So whenever I need to use a class from a zar file, I need not decompress that one and use the zar file, compress it and keep it again. I think you are getting my point. I only keep the zar file in the class path, then the .class file present in that zar file is being automatically used by your application. Are you able to correlate those two things?
Right. But this is like we're talking about processing the data, which will be, I'm not really aware of the big
Yes.
data stuff, which
So,
all your insight.
yeah,
I'm trying to understand, like you need to push the data into the name nodes and like, the data nodes.
no, that is
So
already done.
I'm not sure like
That
if
is
we
how
can
it is done.
compress the data into the nodes and the name nodes like.
No, that is already done. How it is done? At the time of storing, because we are creating the table itself like stored as ORC or RC or Paraquet. Okay. So at the time of loading the data itself, the data is being stored in that format. So while processing also, it will process on the direct, how it is being stored on the same format it is processing. See, how you are processing your text file? Are we decompressing or doing anything on that? We are directly processing the text file, right?
Right, that's correct. Like using the
How,
whatever the
how you are
buffered
processing? Yeah,
reader.
yeah. How you are processing the text file using your text input format and your corresponding reader and doing it, right? Same like you have the respective formats, input formats for Paraquet, RC and all, with which I am able to process my data directly rather than decompressing that one or to a temporary location, do it and compress it again.
Sure, I understand that, but what do you think like more internally, like, maybe that, the stream would internally have to ultimately, uncompress and get that reading, or, in a logical level, as you said, like,
Ram,
it does it, but in an internal level, as I'm just thinking like,
I got your exact point now. You again, because I was thinking in a different dimension. I got your exact point now. So maybe in terms of IO, we were able to reduce it drastically. But when it comes to the CPU usage, you say that it is more. You are absolutely right. I don't know with whom you have discussed this one. The reason why we say the performance is going to be improved for the aspect, I give you like this. You have CPU and you have your IO. You take any circumstance, any time in the history, IO is the most expensive because of the reason your read operation or your write operation, if you take closely, the speed at which you can read or write the data from the devices. Of course, these days A lot of advancement has happened. You have flash memories, or you have SSDs, where you don't have read-write arms at all. But I'm talking about the hard drive, your traditional hard disk drive, where you have a read-write arm. You can move that read-write arm onto the tracks only at certain speed. If you try to move that read-write arm beyond that speed, that friction may produce sparks, and that result in the damage to your hard drive. Your hard drive may get burnt. So those being the mechanical components, they have the limitation. But somehow, time to time, they are improving by bringing new material and reduce the friction and employ different algorithms to store and retrieve the data efficiently. Somehow they are improving. But if you observe, the rate at which the CPU capabilities are being improved, at the same rate your I/O capabilities are not being improved. There is always a huge gap here. So the rate at which I can bring the data from my hard drive and give it to my processor, this is a hard drive, and I am bringing the data from hard drive and giving it to the processor. The rate at which I bring the data and give it to the processor, if you compare these two things, the processor has got the capability to process millions and billions of instructions per second. At the same level, I cannot fetch the data. That is the reason why I use buffers in between. I keep on pumping the data into this buffer, and at times I read constantly the chunk so that my CPU utilization will be more. Now, when you think at that level, in terms of CPU, in terms of maybe my I/O has been drastically improved with my new data format, whatever I am proposing here. But when it comes to the I/O activity, yes, definitely there is an increase in the use of CPU, but still it is worth to me because in my cluster, my computing power is more than sufficient compared to that of my I/O activity. So overall, it is not been impacted. In the other way, I say, people claim on a single processor, on a processor where you have only one core. Of course, today we don't have those kind of processors at all. I'm talking about a decade back when you have a processor only with one core. At that time, there is no concept of core at all. It is a CPU only. Now we are talking about cores as part of the processors and multi-process. Even for the desktops also, we are getting multiple processors. The boards are coming like that because the advancement happening.
Right, and we are talking about like
yeah. So you see the core,
like the current trend, like that's so.
Yes. So even you see at that level, we used to talk about multi-threading. But on a processor with one core, there is no possibility of multi-threading at all. But it gives you the illusion because your CPU is going to run at that millions of, even the old processors I'm talking, millions of instructions per second. It gives you the illusion that the threads are working parallelly. But you go to the minute level and see at the clock of your CPU, only one instruction is getting processed. So where is multi-threading there? But it is illusion because of the computing power. It is giving you the illusion. Same when you come to this concept, whatever we are discussing now, as the I/O is being drastically brought down, it gives you the illusion that the performance has been improved drastically. But the other side, if you see the chart of your CPU, it is being used more. You got my point.
Yeah, I agree on that, because CPU is the most that you don't want to burden it, since the I/O it's not used by every process and it runs in the background. That's the best part of it.
Yeah.
And as you said, CPU is the one we don't want to bother all the time. We want to minimize that. Yeah, I agree with that.
So that's the reason why we see the overall improvement in the performance of your data processing. But honestly, If you trade off between these two, you will not be able to see much difference even with the data formats. But as the IO has been drastically improved, see, not you where you have 585 GB and 131 GB. The amount of data that we are reading from the storage, when it has been drastically reduced, then obviously it looks and projects that the performance has been improved. But when you see the trade-off between the IO and the CPU, I mean, there is no honestly, there is no much improvement we can say, but we cannot consider it that way because I have computing power, right? It is not that with your other SAN kind of storages where only storage power I have, but computing power I need to take it from the centralized where the computing power is been kept. But interesting, when it comes to Hadoop, you have your storage power and the computing power at the same level, because computing is also happening locally, not on the centralized. So keeping that thing in the mind, when you see the trade-off, you will get the feel that the performance improvement has been improved drastically because of the IO aspects. You got the point, Ram, here? You got that one? If possible.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah. So this is how you actually work with this one, with the typical data set that you have. And I would like to show you one other thing as part of this, like how you are using your, I don't know what has happened. So if you look at this one, the same like the other stuff, even your pig, what we have seen, even when you come to this one, you have built-in functions which we have used as part in I think in the last discussion on the student data set, group name, a minimum match marks and the maximum match marks after grouping the data. Same like when you come to your Hive, here also we have the concept of user-defined functions. And how you work with the user-defined functions, let me how to work/Hive. In the meantime, let me show you. Have a look at this one. Same, forget about the other one, other story that we'll be seeing it anyhow now. And that is the reason why I'm opening the Eclipse here. But if you look at this one closely, yes, just have a look at this entire thing what I blocked. We'll be seeing the same query. Adding that jar file to your path, we'll be seeing that one. Have a look at this. How you develop a user-defined function. How you develop a user-defined function in Hive. Just have a look at that. We defined and then we added, we created a temporary function and we started using it as part of our queries. Just have a look at that one. So hope you understand from this one what is being done by us. So I developed a Java class. I developed a Java class here, and this Java class I regularly, like how I am packing it into a jar file, same like I packed it, and I am adding that to the class path by, I think you understand from pig what we did in the pig. What we did in the pig? Register, right? I think you remember in the pig we have done register, and
Yes,
then
register is there, sir.
same like, because you may ask me one thing, why different practices? As I already told you that these components are being individually developed by the respective organizations. So we have these kind of different procedures. So you pack the same jar file, you pack the same Java file into a jar file, and that you add it to your class path, and you should be able to use that one as part of your. Let me show you that here. In the Hive UDFs part are not there. Yes. You see the com.sa.hive.udfs. There you have something called result UDF, what is been used by me. And I pack that into a jar file, and that jar file I add it to my, and here I'll be able to do that. So here you can see in my Hive, I think I started this one from Hive directory only. And the syntax that I follow, one second. Add jar /home/ I think this is Cloudera /work/hive/hive/udfs.jar. You see here, what is that? Added this one to your class path. You got that point? You got that point, friends?
Yep.
Select std comma name comma a result of lang1 from student. What is the result? What is the output I get? Tell me what is the output I get? lang1 only I am passing it to my lang1 only. So which function is going to be called? Evaluate function, which takes only 1 mark. This is going to be called. Suppose the same function. Oh, sorry. I need to use one more thing.
Yeah, so that's saying like you're using evaluate. You had to use evaluate instead of result.
No. We need to use result only, but we need to create a function now. We need to create a function. So create a temporary function result as com.sa. What is that one? com.sa.hive.udfs.result.udf. com.sa.hive.udfs.result.udf. Okay, it's done. Now select std comma name comma result. What is the function that I created now? You can create whatever you want. You can create whatever function name you want. It can be result or ABC, or but a function with meaningful this thing. Of I pass, what is that I pass? lang1 from student. So what is the output that I expect? If lang1, the marks for that particular student is less than 35, we get C1 name Srinivas, and lang1 if it is less than 35 I get fail. If it is greater than 35 and less than 50 I say just pass. What conditions I kept here? Same like I'm going to get the output. Now tell me, What sort of MapReduce job is going to function for you in the background here? Reduce task?
Or no reduce, I guess.
Exactly, no reduce. You can see that here.
Because there's no
Since
aggregate.
there is no reduce operator. Number of reduced tasks is set to 0 since there is no reduce operator. I hope you got the point what I'm sharing with you here, friends.
But can you explain? So, like when we say here, when we're creating the function as a result, and we are passing the value lang1 to the result.
Yeah.
But our function has a different, our UDF has a different name
Yes.
for the
that is
method
the
that we're
reason.
calling.
No, that is the reason why we are compelled to create this function so that we can call with that name. But depending on the number of parameters you are passing to this result function, we may pass 1 or we may pass 6. If you pass 1, this evaluate function will be called in the background. If you pass 6, this evaluate function will be called in the background. I think the method overloading concept that what we have, the same is being applied here. Which evaluate function of the background UDF is going to be called depends on the number of inputs you are passing. You got the point?
I got it. But yeah, but what if we have like 2 method names in that class? Is it allowed, or syntactically is it not allowed in the UDF class? Like,
No,
let's say we have only one function, one method here. We have like 2 different methods, overloaded methods.
No. Because as per the Hive API, if you see your Hive API says your UDF must have multiple. If you want to have the function, because usually a function which performs some action, similar action, instead of you having different UDFs, you have a single UDF but overloaded forms, so that it's going to be more effective. Instead of me having instead of me having 2 separate functions, one to find the result with 1 input and one to find with the number of functions that I need to create will become more. Now here, one function, depending on the inputs I'm passing, I'll be getting the respective. Right?
So you mean apart from evaluate, I can't have other overloaded functions in that? I can have evaluate with different parameters.
We cannot have other, because the reason behind that is, yes. The reason behind that is, this has got only, let me show you that. UDF, yes. A user-defined function for use with Hive. New UDF classes need to inherit from this UDF class. Implement one or more methods named evaluate. Implement.
So we should have only the method with the name evaluate, no other name allowed there.
Because this is going to be a callback function. Sure. This is going to be a callback function.
Okay, I got that now.
Because like how in the servlet you can have only service method is a callback method from the web, your servlet container. You cannot keep other method and make it to work like a service method until and unless we
as a life cycle method we can't work that.
Yeah. So here you see evaluate method with no arguments, evaluate method with 1 argument, evaluate method with the same overloaded properties are applicable to this one, and this is how you can make your things done, right?
Yeah, got it, Srinivas.
Yeah. So this is how you can get the answer also. Here you can see that one. What is the answer you got? C10 Ram, excellent, and C5 Srinivas, excellent, C3 Raghu, good, and depending on C1 Rahul, fail. Is because what the implementation we did here, depending on the marks. Now I think you got the understanding how you can develop a user-defined function in terms of your Hive. Make sense?
Yep, so excellent.
So great, friends. I appreciate if you can this weekend, if you can sit. And one small request. I'm not sure, and please don't confirm that one. Probably the coming session we may not be having the